Thanks for joining us here on HeflaTV 2. This is a Shanghai Major Open Qualifiers. I'm Grandisv, and we're currently 2 minutes 20 seconds in the Big Red Machine versus Stark. We saw Stark earlier today against London Conspiracy playing very good Dota. And Trixie going to make a reprise on his Batriders. Maybe we'll just do a quick formal introduction. Trixie, please don't die during this time. Also, OKC going to be playing on his Jen. World Devoured by Boogie, and we'll even get a pause. Valix on the Rubik, and Juggernaut by none other than Nemphy. On the Dire side, it's going to be Fuldurn. On the Spirit Breaker, Swordheart. On the Bane, I'm hoping these are their official names. Gyrocopter by Legion Capron. On the Witch Doctor, and Tiny by GG Well Played Lanaya. These are probably not their official names, but we'll just roll with it. I'm sure this is what they wanted to be called. At least today. For sure. Well, let's reorient ourselves. After Divine Rapiers and 2 late game Ember Spirits, we now are Ember Spirit free. What we do have is a Bane Tiny mid lane versus an OD Chen, which is actually pretty interesting. The Tiny Bane especially. OD is one of the few heroes that can actually somewhat manage this lane. If he has a little bit of help, of course. And just a couple of mana steals on the Tiny, and he can't really effectively use his combo. Right now he can, at the very least, so if they found a good Nightmare, but at the same time, Chen's right behind him. He can't get a Nightmare into the Avatas. Which is exactly what Stark need to be doing right now. Feels like Stark have a reasonable grip on this early game when it comes to their lanes. However, they did lose First Blood. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but it was Spirit Breaker to grab that. Still, the Spirit Breaker not in a super great situation compared to the Batrider, as Trixie is able to supplement his offlane with a juicy creep camp here. This creep camp is incredibly difficult to stack, but you can get it a couple times. I'm sure Trixie is very well versed in its spawn box. And has himself a bottle, almost level 5 compared to Spirit Breaker's 3, almost 4. Spirit Breaker's not upset with the situation inside this game. He's out farming his Tiny, for better or worse. But all is okay. Speaking of okay, the Chen has been roaming a lot towards the mid lane. Hasn't had a lot of alone time to farm, which is probably fine. I'm sure he's not too heartbroken about that. Trixie is going to be playing Ring Around the Rosies with the Witch Doctor. They really opened up the paths around these side areas, so heroes other than your Batrider you're seeing now can abuse those trees, and even Batrider doesn't have to use his Firefly to stay out of sight. Boogie is going to opt for a 2-on-2 build on the Outworld Devour. I think a lot of it, it's probably just a good build, but it really helps at stopping Tiny from being able to use his combo. But a cast up towards top, and Trixie in a lot of trouble. They have the Gyrocopter coming in from the sidelines, going to Nightmare him up underneath their tower, and they're going to commence the dive, salving up Legion, and they will be able to bring down Trixie, or will they? They will bring him down to Maledict. However, Legion stuck under his tower is going to turn for his ultimate to bring down Valix, but a safe lane farmer for an offlaner in support. Stark are going to feel a lot more comfortable about that than they otherwise should, because their Juggernaut is currently not diving towers and is just having a very casual free farming experience down the bottom lane. Fuldurn is going to go ahead and do battle against Chen and his righteous army, but his faith been found wanting and will be sent home, or not all the way home, at least into the trees to munch up and wait for a charge target. It's a pretty hard game for the Spirit Breaker to charge and kill stuff, honestly. But with the haste, Tiny, he wants it, but I'm not sure it can really have it. Didn't have that magical 240 mana. It has no wand charges at the moment, so not going to happen. Honestly, it's pretty interesting to see OD go for the point in his ultimate this early on. Maybe that also has to do with the mana burn, but we'll have to see if that is even necessary here. They're going to steal a good chunk of his mana and blow him sky high The hammer is going to be dropped, and Boogie will find himself a kill richer. 2 and 3. And now, straight into the tower push. Chen creeps down on the deck. Stark, they feel in control of this game, honestly. Even though it's 2 to 3 and the kill score looks pretty even. Big Red Machine are playing very passively in their lanes, but not out farming the enemy. In fact, far from it. We take a look. The CS numbers are vastly in the favor of Stark. They kind of need to activate this gyrocopter, and their team is incredibly good at fighting early. If we take a look down the line, Bane, Spiritbreaker, Gyrocopter, Tiny, Witch Doctor, some of the best at taking early skirmishes, but they're not able to find these opportunities. Maybe once they get Spiritbreaker's level 6, but even then. Yeah, Spiritbreaker has to give this Juggernaut a lot of space. This is a level 8 Jug compared to a level 4 Spiritbreaker. You don't want to touch that guy. Don't even get close to him, really. We'll just skirt just outside of vision if he can help it. Right now he can't because there's an Observer Ward and it's daytime. But oh, Trixie might be in a little bit of trouble here. Trying for the TP attempt. The damage is too high. And Batrider is going to be brought down. All according to plan. Batrider's managed to find himself level 6, and he's still getting good experience, despite dying a handful of times. It's not uncommon for offlaners to do that, and honestly, it's not a bad thing. What Spiritbreaker is doing right now is, okay, of course, he's not feeding the Juggernaut, and that's nice and all, but at the same time, without level 6, the Spiritbreaker can't do much. At least in this game. Whereas the Batrider now can go back out farm woods, and maybe if he finds an opportune haste rune here or there, could utilize that lasso. But yeah, would recommend Batrider dying. Go find yourself some farm here or there. The stacking situation for the Stark side is not really high. Happens when you have a Chen. Really, the only camp that Batrider is super accessible to him is that one. As I already mentioned, it's really hard to get high stacks onto it. In fact, sometimes it's impossible. And you get 2 and 3 pretty reliably. Good to go. Big Red Machine and Stark are going to give the big old thumbs up and ready to get back into this game. Sentry Ward is going to be dewarded by the Banes. Still, both teams maintain vision around the area. And everybody's just chilling. Good news for Big Red Machine is having since killed the Batrider have opened themselves up to a nice little push in the top lane, taking down a tier 1 tower for themselves, which is going to be very useful. Pop the tequila on, take the last hit for your Gyrocopter, and Legion's going to be pretty happy with the state of things. At least immediately. At the same time, however, Nymphy has since taken that tier 1 tower for himself and is in a slightly better situation than Gyrocopter. But maybe not when it comes to his ability to make fights happen for his team. Call down still a very powerful skill, and Rocket Barrage also, even after tweaks here and there. Gyrocopter feels like he just fits the game so well right now. A little bit of lost damage here or there, patch to patch, isn't going to hurt him too much. It'll be interesting to see where the Outworld Devourer goes when it comes to his item progression in this game. First is going to be sent back to base at Express Trip as he fills up his bottle. And probably looks towards a mobility item first. Last time we saw him play, it was the Force Staff. Honestly, I really like Blink Dagger on OD, although maybe something before that? Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure the OD is in much more capable hands than my own. Let's see what Boogie decides on. Right now, Big Red Machine want to get active. They know that things aren't going 100% well for them when it comes to farm, especially the Tiny is probably like, look, I'm having a miserable lane, and the team probably expects that. Charging forward. Voldern is going to make the opening happen, but the Tiny is already dead as he was already ganked by Stark. Big call down. And with the Witch Doctor ult, but they are going to be able to bring down the Rubik. OD ult, however, turned around, is going to drop them all to about half HP. Can anybody finish the deal? Witch Doctor continuing to get his channel off. The Chen creeps, the Flame Break in there, and a lot of trouble as Nemphy Omni Slash is killing off one instantly. And then we'll be able to spin it off. Get himself home safety, or to safety. Excuse me. Big Red Machine thought that they had their tinies back with that rotation, but they're a little too wide out. And weren't able to help him as Stark are now going to start taking your towers. And there is not much you can do about this. Tornado is going to be thrown in by the Chen. And if anybody as much as steps up to try and drop a spell on anything, they're going to be demolished. The Satyr stopping Witch Doctor from doing anything. Again, kill score is not indicative of the state of this game. Alex is going to casually steal himself a level 3 cask, which is by no means a bad steal. In fact, it's pretty darn good. A Big Red Machine. I like the idea there to go for the smoke, but it just doesn't work out for them. Tiny, in a perfect world right now, is starting to... Oh, in an ideal world, he has his Blink Dagger, but that's not the case. But he needs to be put in a situation where he can start getting kills on the supports. And Rubik is the ideal candidate. Chen next so, but Chen's always going to get a mech soon. Alright. What do you do? What do you do, Big Red Machine? I think... I don't know, you have to wait for a mistake. This is a hard one, for sure. Dire have good vision around this top area, though. They have the cliff ward placed. They're going to catch eyes on the Rubik and the Bat Rider. No, the OD also, but really the big thing that's happening now is the Blink Dagger purchase up by the Bat Rider. This could make things difficult. Alex getting charged. Oh no, you don't really want to be here, Spirit Breaker. They are going to encase up the Rubik as OD starts stacking up that in, up to 15. It really is like watching a ranged Slark, if that even seems fair. Paralyzing cast, bouncing once to Fulldorn. The damage is not quite enough as Bane looks to make a hasty retreat. TPing out on the high ground is going to be successful in doing so. The only thing lost is a little bit of their sanity sucked in by the Outworld Devourer. Ito's first by Buki. Fair enough. I really like the build myself. Tanks you up, gives you in, gives you chasing power. What more can an OD want? Not much, honestly. Unless you're forced into buying something else. Like a Force or a BKB. Now Stark are going to go for a smoke of their own. They have a deep ward. They know that Witch Doctor is a little alone here. Prawn, I hate to say it, but you look like you're in a bit of a pickle here. Blink forward, the Bat Rider can taste blood. Flamebreak is going to miss, but the OD cuts him off, and Boogie finds himself the Astral Imprisonment. Spiritbreaker's charging, but he's really far away, right into the stomp coming out from this Centaur, and they will be able to bring themselves home a Witch Doctor. Big rotation for just support, you might say, but they probably are going to get a little bit more than that. The Tier 1 tower has been left undefended. Now with the Chen being able to put the power of his creeps to work, like they're going to be able to at least put a lot of damage on this tower, if not outright take it. Where the Bat Rider is able to defend bottom. Oh, he might just get a solo kill on the Tiny, but it's not going to need to be solo, as here comes Juggernaut, spinning him down. Tosses away the Juggernaut. That is as good a play as you can make as the Tiny there, but it's not good enough. Stark are going to now be 6-5 as their kill score starts reflecting the state of this game. It's a very sad Tiny. And Gyrocopter, he knows that he needs more items. He's going to go for the helm to farm, but right now what they really need is not to die to the Sanity's Eclipse. My goodness, that damage. Whew. They're going to get a grip on OKC, and they are going to be able to pick off the 2 supports. But that was not a pleasant picture for your Gyrocopter. Just evaporated. It's ridiculous. A good OD gets when he has just a couple of stacks. Look at those Chen creeps go to town to Capron. I don't think he kills the Witch Doctor here. Yeah, Witch Doctor is going to be just fine. Boulder! 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 Take that, Capron. Poor Witch Doctor. He's going to go back to base. Envy has joined a couple of successful fights, but now it's going to start ramping up his own farming speed as he has the Battle Fury. But the biggest issue for Big Red Machine is they have to deal with 3 farmed cores, whereas their own cores are just that far, or much further behind when it comes to tangible items. You have the Atos on the OD, but for the Tiny, you don't have anything. All of his gold is tied up inside his bank, about 1,800 stored there. Which is nice, I suppose, once he gets his Blink Dagger, and it's going to be nice once Spirit Breaker invests into an item. He's going to go for Midas, actually, so Nice once he is able to catch on the Midas. I think the Midas is a good purchase, don't get me wrong. But it's a hard game. They don't have the same fighting power. And even the Battle Fury, the farming item for Juggernaut's pretty good for farming heroes too. You can catch a couple of them clumped up. Well, let's see. Blink Dagger on Tiny's what needs to start snowballing for Big Red Machine. They don't really have anything else to wait on. At least not fast enough. Gyrocopter probably going to go for a BKB next. Granted, BKB is not going to keep him 100% safe. You have to deal with the Juggernaut and the Batrider's Lasso, but kind of needed against the OD, or else you're just going to get ripped apart. Even without any stolen in, it's hitting on 93 intelligence now. Yeah, it's hard, and that's when he's on strength threads too. Here's your Blink Dagger for the Tiny. This is an opportunity for Big Red Machine. Something that can tilt the scales back in their favor if they can get a couple of pickoffs here and there on the supports. Now, as I talk about that, maybe we should look at the supports and what ones he can actually kill, at least instantly. Chen, not so much. He has the mechanism. Rubik doesn't have any points in no field, so at the very least, what you see is what you get when it comes to his HP plus the magic wand. But even then, it's not an instant kill, which is really what you look for when you have the Tiny and this Blink Dagger. Charge is going to be instantly canceled, I want to say, is the Chen and the Batrider farming a couple creeps aggressively, which Dr. Cass going to bounce back and forth to the Chen creeps and back to the Chen. Unlucky bounces. Okay, see ya. Alright, enough of that. The coconut is going to subside, but the smoked Bane is still going to give pursuit. I don't think Big Red Machine can get anything. They're going to Nightmare up the Centaur. Die, Centaur, die, and they'll get him. Smoking for Centaur probably, I don't know, even when it comes to gold, but the time commitment there is not even close. Big Red Machine are falling behind, and they know it. Alright. Midas up on Spirit Breaker. That's something. But now you have that Battle Fury done on the Juggernaut. And OD is going to pick up his next item soon, too. Honestly, I wouldn't mind him going for the Blink now. Or something else altogether. Whatever floats your boat, OD. You terrifying beast, you. Stark are going to play this safe. We have a charge going on to the Juggernaut. And here comes Tiny from the south. Tiny's invised up. Nymphy. Blink, Avalanche Toss. Juggernaut in live trouble. Hand of God is going to keep him alive for a little while longer. Blink and Lasso going to pull the Gyrocopter. The charge continues. And Nymphy will fall. That is much needed for Big Red Machine. Now, the Batrider, with his newly found friend, the Gyrocopter, is going to be brought down as Trixie falls too. Sometimes all you need, Invis Rune. Simple as that. Now, Tiny's up to 1,500 gold. That's not as much as the Juggernaut has, even now after dying once. But that's going to help Big Red Machine. They need more, where that came from, but it's possible. Possible. Oh, Stark have slowed down as everybody backs off and farms a little bit. That pickoff, or series of pickoffs, the Batrider and the Juggernaut, is not going to mean anything major yet. It might. Bane going to place down the ward, but with the gem freshly picked up by the Chen, it's not going to be there for much longer. In fact, he still has a fresh sentry as he waits for the gem to be given over to the Batrider. Take good care of it, Trixie. Or maybe Chen is just going to give it to himself. Also, a viable option. Or just keeping the curry right on. I don't know. Let's see what they have in mind for this gem. When it comes to item progression, Tiny's going to pick himself up the drums. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of the drum pickup after Blink this game. But you know what? He probably just needs the stats now to be able to fight. Honestly, I think his best chance is probably get the Ags, but yeah, we'll just see how that plays out for him. Drums is an item that you're kind of forced into building. You don't necessarily want to build it. On most heroes, at the very least. You can get it early and you can fight with it. That's one thing. But right now, it's just, I need stats. Stark are grouped up in the scary mechanism on the Chen. 4 creeps in the army. And Blink Dagger on the OD. Like it a lot. I think this is probably the standard OD build now. Just Atos into Blink, but it's damn strong for sure when you're ahead. Smoked up, Stark, ready to go. Regeneration runes on the deck, and the Dire team, no idea. Smoke is not popped yet. Bat Rider in the air, and he's going to find some juicy heroes to go on to. Lasso and Gyrocopter ultimate. That Bane sure is dead. Witchshark is going to be channeled. OD obliterates him. Stolen Death Ward. Going to do a little bit of damage here and there. A lot of damage as it continues to be channeled. Nobody can stop Alex. Double kill for Boogie. Flamebreak is going to be thrown. Not going to clip on that Spirit Breaker, but that's 3 clean kills for Stark. And straight into the Roshan pit with the healing ward already on the deck. This is going from bad to worse. Big Red Machine are really losing grip of this game. There's so many good spells to steal for the Rubik that are easy to steal too. Fiend's Grip and Witch Doctor definitely. There's just not a great way that you can protect those spells without farm. And Witch Doctor and Bane are lacking that department. Granted, Rubik is too, but he doesn't really need it. KC is more than picking up the slack. Whose Belt of Strength is that? Nemphy? Okay. Dropping that for the Aegis and then TPing up towards top. But for now, it's Shen's belt. That's a pretty nice one. Looks kind of fuzzy. It must be comfortable, for sure. Well, after losing Aegis, the Machine are again in a situation where they're on the back foot. The good news for them, though, is the fact that Gyrocopter and Tiny, should they be able to get the farm, are very potent carries in their own right if they're able to reach 6-slotted status. But getting to that point is going to be very difficult this game. Very difficult, in fact. Gonna have a pause. Boogie needs a second. Hopefully not for too much longer. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. Not impossible, but very difficult for Big Red Machine here. And for Stark, it's smooth sailing. They are... Although... know that, of course, Gyrocopter and Tiny can be scary once you get items. They know probably the only way that they're going to get enough items is if Stark throw bodies at them. As long as they control this map, they're good. And they'll be able to mop up the creep wave and now go on to the tier 2 tower in top lane that should be defended by Big Red Machine. I think they're just going to separate it on, go their separate ways. Double damage rune on the Tiny. That's something it can help too. You can never say no to a free 221 damage. War Staff up for the Bat Rider. Strixie continues on his item progression. This is a happy bat. Especially considering he gave up 2 deaths early. His KD after that and his play after that has been great. Trixie's in his comfort zone on this hero. And in the offlane too, even if he is going to die a couple of times. He's doing his job, and I mean the Spirit Breaker's KD is fine. It just doesn't feel like the Spirit Breaker's not having as much impact as the Bat Rider when it comes to controlling the map. And maybe that's due to the rest of the team and not just the offlane comparison head to head, but well, here's your item. BKB on the Gyrocopter. Big Red Machine have the tools that they need to defend high ground, but they probably need to defend it now. Nemphy. His healing ward has since expired or has been left in the dust. I think that was a healing ward back there. Blink in. Avalanche toss. Not going to toss Nemphy, but is going to destroy the majority of the creep wave. Shadow Blade. Nether Strike canceled. And that is going to be all she wrote for now. TP down towards bottom. Nemphy wants to farm. The rest of his team are going to do likewise. And the other areas of the map and everything is kind of slowed down a little bit. And why not? OD. That's enough money for a Mystic Staff. Is he going to buy that here? Just going to go for the normal route for the Hex. Probably the better route, honestly. But you know what? You're an OD. Mystic Staff could have been fun. This is not time for fun. This is time for serious games. Starker not going to take any chances, even if it's such a small one as buying a Mystic Staff for an Ultimate Orb on OD. I don't know. Radiant team are maintaining pretty darn good vision. The same is Impossible for the Dyer's side. Interesting ward here. I think that's probably a counter gem ward, and maybe to a lesser extent this one also. Not super common places, but still give reasonable vision. Just to make sure that they're not spotted out by the Batrider as he cruises along. And for now it's working. I actually like those ward spots quite a bit by Big Red Machine. It's not going to take that many fights for Big Red Machine to get back into this game. But I'm not sure if Stark are going to give them those opportunities to find those fights. Sanjin Yashi completed by the Juggernaut. Nemphy's going to be flying that out now. The good news is we can actually see the Roshan timer this time. Well, they are going to have the Aegis for about a minute. And this is time for Stark to probably just blow the Aegis, but we'll see. 4,000 gold is still tied up on the courier, but now Juggernaut's going to have that as well as his second life. They're ready to go, smoked up behind him. And there you go. Nemphy going to chip away. Drops his healing ward on the deck. And casually tanks the coconut. Tier 3 tower down to about half HP. Big Red Machine need to do something, but there's just not an opportunity. You can't go on that Juggernaut by himself. At least not easily. They'll Nightmare him. And now the healing ward's gone. That's something, but that something is not enough. The only thing that's going to stop Stark here is the fact that we don't have Aegis. Or at least we don't have Aegis for long. It's going to be expiring pretty darn shortly here, and there you go. A really well-timed push. Again, Stark taking no chances. They know their timers, and they're ready to go. Nemphy power farming up. Still, the Tiny is getting there. Interesting. Tiny not going to go for Ags after all. Wants to go for a presumed assault Kirax next. Pretty interesting build overall coming out from the Tiny. And it kind of works. I think you still go back for the Aghanim Scepter after the AC, but just having that additional armor against the Juggernaut is going to be useful. But I don't think it wins the game, is the biggest issue. I think it only delays it. Having extra armor and having the aura from AC is usually pretty nice for killing off towers, but for a Tiny, the Aghanim Scepter probably does that and a little bit better. Who am I to judge? Tiny needs a lot this game. There's no denying that. But he's getting there. He's getting there slowly but surely. Well, we might be waiting for the next Roshan, which could be coming up in about 2 minutes or so, but probably will take a little while longer. Till then, Stark are going to back off onto their side of the map and farm it up a little bit. This gives Big Red Machine a little bit of breathing room. So we could leave him his base to Midas a jungle creep instead of having to settle for the lane creeps. Not actually going to Midas either of them. And might just like lane creeps better. All the power to you. Come on, Midas, please. It hurts. It hurts. He's saving it for a Chen creep, probably. Man, he must really hate the Chen. I'm not sure I blame him. This Chen's been playing very well. And again, another one of Stark's comfort years. If we take a look at the draft coming out from Stark, this is like... This screams Stark. Even before Juggernaut was flavor of the month, they picked it all the time. Batrider has been a pick for them. Chen, Rubik, and maybe not last patch, the OD, but this patch certainly. Okay. He gives up. He's just gonna have to settle for that nasty mud golem. I'm sure Chen's creeps probably taste better. I don't know, They definitely feel better to Midas, if that makes any sense. You're not just taking some neutral creep, you're taking Chen's creep. Take that, Chen. The cackling monkey will throw out a coconut mid lane. And it is worth noting that that monkey now has himself an Aghanim Scepter. Not the monkey, the witch doctor himself. I'm not sure what the monkey would do with an Aghanim Scepter. Can he throw more coconuts with it? I don't know. Bane is going to be picked off as Batrider pulls him back into the rest of his team. And the Assault Cuirass is done by the Tiny. The items are coming out from Big Red Machine, and Capron's Aghanim Scepter could actually be a really big deal. I do realize that that might have sounded really mean earlier. I hope you'll forgive me, Capron. But it's okay, I'm sure. Blink Dagger, however, picked up by the Rubik also. Blink Aether Lens, and your range of initiation is pretty darn insane. Telekinesis? That seems fair. $11-9. And Stark have been giving a good amount of space, but now you have the Scythe of Vice for the OD. This is game time for Stark. Your OD's hitting for plus 200 pure damage on his auto attacks, and that's before he starts stealing it. Ouch. Smoke up from BRM though. They still have that BKB on the gyrocopter. So 10-second charge too. This might just be their fight. See if they can pull this one off. Smoking into enemy lines, leading the charge. The Spirit Breaker is there. Although they just don't have any vision around the area. They're going to guess wrong when it comes to where the enemy team is. They look towards the left, but Stark, they had a smoke of their own, and they're on the right. Ships passing in the night. Maybe these ships are going to collide after all. Gen Creep. Scouting. That's actually a really nice positioning coming out from these Gen Creeps. But, oh, right into everybody. The gem on the Batrider. It's a trap. That was really well executed coming out from Stark. I like that a lot, actually. And now into Roshan they're going to go. Easiest Roshan of their life. 195 a pop, at least whenever the OD has his mana. Without him, that extra pure damage is going to be quite a number. Also, just the raw damage coming out from Nymphy. Is that a Scotty flying out to him? Almost a Scotty. For now, it's an Aegis, which is probably the better round object to have in your inventory. I don't know. Not sure where I was going with that one, but we'll just let that one slide. Juggernaut, I'm going to go ahead and join the rest of his team sooner rather than later. Actually, it looks like he wants to push down bottom, but a TP top. The Batrider is going to push out the side lanes. This is a hasted bat, and he's going to start laying down stacks onto this gyro. Trixie has no fear. He doesn't care because the rest of his team is in mid, killing off the Tiny. OD's ultimate's going to be dropped, and there's just nothing the Tiny can do in that situation. The gyrocopter is still dancing around with Trixie. BKB pop, but I'm not sure Trixie cares that much. Trixie doesn't have his haste rune any longer, though, as the rest of his team is pushing mid. Melee barracks exposed and dropping quickly. Big Red Machine are just being picked apart. No other way to say it. Charging forward. Not charging forward any longer. The Spirit Breaker is going to cancel that one. Blinking forward. Trixie wants it. Another strike canceled. And Stark casually just walk up, take melee barracks, take range barracks, and now are gonna casually walk up and do the same thing top. Even though that dance with the gyrocopter didn't net Batrider a kill, it got him the 10-second BKD charge, and without that, gyrocopter can't fight. Nymphy's going to spin, pulling back poor Witch Doctor. Under normal circumstances, the Witch Doctor pickup doesn't mean much, but they need every hand on deck. Hexing up one, the OG is pretty deep here, one would say, but he has the backup to support it. Fiend's Grip has been stolen, Omni Slash on the Legion in full turn, and they're going to be able to bring down two. Triple kill for Nymphy. Buyback from the Spirit Breaker. Flame Break's going to be thrown, Avalanche toss, but he just can't get anything. And that's going to be good game well played, as it's called by Big Red Machine. Stark will go ahead and claim this victory and continue on in the Shanghai Major Open qualifiers. Thanks for tuning in. I think for now, I'm really tired. I've been up all night. I'll probably call it a day. It's only been a short broadcast, but thanks for tuning in. In the meantime, head over to the MPGO broadcast, hosted by Mike Loris, or go watch Janely get some of the Mineski Shanghai Open qualifier games, and we'll see you later. See you guys.